Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jo. I do craft videos. I usually do 3 a week. If you're returning, as always, my friends, thank you for your continued support. It really means the world to me, and you know, because I tell you all the time. So let's get into today's craft video. For today's video, I'm upcycling one of my dad's toolboxes. I picked this up from my mum's just after Christmas, and I knew I wanted to do something with it. I want to use it for my tools, for all my crafting bits, and yeah, it was about time that I sat down and actually did something with it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a light sand. I don't want to sand it too much. I want to leave all the bumps and stains and knocks in it. So obviously it's what my dad's done to it when he's been using it in the past, and I don't want to get rid of that because I want it to remind me of him. So I'm going to just lightly sand it, and once I've done that from the front, around the sides and the top, we can get on to the next part. So now that I've lightly sanded the top and all around the sides, I'm going to actually use a medium oak stain on the box. I picked this up from a local decorating shop in my village. I paid $4.99 for it. I'm going to use one of the large brushes from Poundland. They came in a set of 3, and they're the professional brush sets. So this is what I'm going to use to stain the box. I ended up doing, I think it was just 1 coat. It might have been 2, but I'm sure it was just 1 coat of stain. So I'm just gonna start to do that. I'll do the top first and round the sides, let it dry, and then once it's dry I'll turn it over and do the bottom. But I really like how the stain ended up looking on the box in the end. And yeah, I'll be using this in another couple of crafts. I'm in the middle of making something at the moment that's been put on hold until after my special video on the 21st of August. So use that in that, and I've used a bit of it in the video that I'm doing on the 21st of August as well. So once all this is dry, I can get on to the next section. And this is what it looks like now that it's stained. I love how it's looking on the wood, and I love that you can still see all the scratches underneath it. It was exactly what I wanted. So now I'm using a stencil that I got from wish.com. I paid, I think it was £2 including postage for it, and it's of a family of deers. Obviously this is my dad's toolbox, and family is really important, and I miss him every single day. But yeah, I wanted to have something family related, and I absolutely love deers and forests. So yeah, this was just perfect. When I saw it, I knew I was going to use it on this box. I'm using a mixture of the peacock green and some white acrylic paint, and I'm just using an ordinary washing up sponge that I've cut up to dab the paint onto the stencil. I'm going to completely do all this in blue, and then once it's dry I'm going to take off the stencil. I've only done stenciling maybe once or twice before, and I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get the technique down, but it turned out all right in the end, and this is what it looked like. So I'm just pulling off the masking tape and seeing, hopefully, that it's come out all right, and it has. There's just a few little bits where I could do with going over with a paintbrush, so I'm going to do that. I'm just going to use the leftover paint and just go around the edges where the sponge has just missed a little bit, and then let it dry, and I'm going to move on to the next part. So after I'd finished the stencil, I remembered that Kate had also sent some stencils in the box of stuff that she sent me a couple of weeks ago, and I thought this would be ideal for each of the corners of the box. And I'm actually going to stencil these in white this time. I'm just going to tape them in the corner, stencil it, wash the stencil, and then do the next one and let them dry. I was going to use a wooden heart. I mentioned about I had this wooden heart that I got from B&M's that I wanted on the box, but I couldn't get it to fit. I just didn't like how it was looking on the box. So I come up with another idea. It took me about 4 days to figure out what I was going to do, but I'll show you what it looks like with the other stencil. So the one at the bottom corner, this one isn't too great, but the other 3 I really love. And then after my 4 days off from doing anything with it, I decided that I was going to add some wood around the outside. I really wanted to add wood to it. I know that it's made of wood, but my dad was a joiner. He spent his whole life working with wood, and yeah, I wanted to incorporate having some wood on the box. So I've went to Wix and I bought some edging or beading, and I've cut it to size, and I'm going to do a frame around the top of the box and a frame around the deer stencil in the centre. And I don't have the correct tools to be cutting wood at an angle, so they're not fantastic, my angles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them together, and then I'm going to fill in the gaps with some polyfiller, which I got from Poundland for a tub already mixed. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll sand the corners once I've used the filler and it's dried. So this is what it looks like before I've painted it and glued it down. I'm going to paint it first before I stick it down, just to make life that little bit easier. And originally I was going to do it the blue in the centre, but I ended up doing it white, and I absolutely love how it's turning out. I'm going to glue this down with some glue that I got from Poundland. And then I've decided that I'm also going to do the paneling on the front of the box, around the outside, and a piece across the centre and the bottom as well. And then once I did that, I realized I liked it so much that I did both the sides as well. But on the sides, what I did was I used the stencil that I did in white around the edges, I did on the sides in blue, and then I did the wood as well. So I'll glue all that in place and I'll show you what it looks like. So here is what the box looks like with all the wood and the blue stencils on the side, and there is a piece of wood missing at the back on this side, and it's because I ran out of the wood, so I need to pick some more up from Wix at some point. But to finish off the front, I remembered that Kate had sent me some little butterfly paper silhouettes, and I'm going to stick one on each side of the front of the box. I'm just going to brush some PVA glue down onto the box and then stick these in place, and then once I varnish the box, it will completely seal them in and they'll be fine. So now I'm going to add some leaves and some flowers to the box, and you know me, I do like to add flowers and foliage, and I just thought it was really important to tie in what my dad used to use the box for when he was working to what I'm using the box for now, which is for my YouTube channel. So I just thought it'd be really, really important. And if it wasn't for me buying flowers from Poundland last year, I wouldn't have started my YouTube channel. So yeah, I just wanted to tie it all together. So I'm just going to add some greenery at the front on one side, and then at the back on the other side I'm going to do the same thing. Then I'm going to add some blue flowers, and then to finish it off I'm going to add the white roses, and these were the roses that I bought when I decided to do my channel, and yeah, I just wanted to finish it off that way. So I'm just going to continue to add the flowers, and then once I've done that I will show you what it looks like. And here it is. So the last thing I need to do is add that little piece of wood to the back where I ran out, and then I'm going to give it a coat of varnish. But I'm so happy with how it turned out. It is not perfect by any means, but I absolutely love it. And my dad would have been laughing and smiling at me watching me cut the wood for around that box. If I'd had the correct tools, it would have been completely fine, but I didn't. I should have been using a workbench, a saw, a proper saw, and a angle cutting block, and we would have been great. But instead I was using a hacksaw from Poundland. I was using a plant stand to cut it on, and I was using a ruler and a pencil to mark the angles, which is not perfect. So it turned out the way it turned out, but I absolutely love it. I love that I added the flowers. I love the stencil in the centre and the stencil around the outsides, and the butterflies that Kate sent were just finished it off perfectly. So I hope you've enjoyed the video and it's giving you some ideas, and I'm sorry that it took a little bit longer. It should have been ready for last Monday, but I've managed to get it done for this Monday. I just needed to take a little bit of time away from it every now and again because obviously it was very emotional, but really happy with the end result. So I will be back on Wednesday with my next craft video. So until then, take care and I'll see you then. Bye for now.